Well, guys, the streak is finally over. And I could not be happier. Thank the Lord the streak is over. I was so sick and tired of hearing about that streak. It became annoying. When the streak was first happening, it was cool. When we broke the record for most consecutive preseason wins with 20, it was cool, but after that, it just became so annoying. And it got to the point where I didn't want to hear it anymore. What caused it to get so annoying was, one, the media could not stop talking about it. Every preseason game the Ravens played, they kept bringing up, you know they're on this winning streak, right? You know they're on this winning streak. 21, 22, 23, 24. They kept bringing it up, and it was annoying. And every time you were watching, anytime someone came close to breaking the streak, immediately, you'll just fly by the TV. Ravens have won X amount of consecutive games. Ravens winning streak on the line. Who the hell cares about a preseason winning streak? The thing that got me the most was that it was discussed so much to the point where people actually started to believe that the Ravens cared more about winning in the preseason and maintaining the streak than actually being prepared for the regular season and trying to compete for a championship. And that's the one that really started to get on my nerves. They really made it seem like the Ravens truly cared about the streak to the point where they were focused on maintaining the streak over actually preparing for the regular season. And that's where it went too far for me. So the streak is over. It's dead. We can finally move forward. At the end of the day, the Ravens already got the record, so who the hell really cares? I don't think you're going to see anybody get 25 consecutive preseason wins because, again, who cares? It's the preseason. The preseason is here for two reasons. One, to give the rookies an early look at how the NFL speed is going to be. Just give them some early playing time for the regular season. And two, an opportunity to give guys who are fighting for a roster spot, guys who are fighting for a job. That's what the preseason's for. Who cares if you win or lose? Your performance on the field is going to determine whether or not you make the roster. Win or lose. The team can lose, but if you performed well consistently throughout training camp and the preseason, you've got yourself a spot on the team. I mean, if the team's winning, but you're not producing, you're not going to be here. You'll be cut. That's the point of the preseason. For the rookies and the guys fighting for a roster spot. Wins and losses don't matter. But people cared so much about the streak, it got to a point where it was terrible. It was annoying to hear. So it's over. It's dead. We can move on. We got one more preseason game left to play, and then the regular season's here. We will play the Houston Texans week 1 on September 10th, which is about 3 weeks away. So, yeah, finally glad that streak's done. We got one more preseason game left to go. Now, in terms of the game itself, there was some ups and some downs. Some things I liked, some things I didn't like. Number one thing I liked, hell, I love this. Zay Flowers is going to be a problem, man. Zay Flowers is going to be a problem. He showcased it early on. He played in one drive. And in that drive, he scored a 26-yard touchdown. It was a catch and run. He was wide open. It was a bust by the defense. He was wide open, caught it, took off, was just ducking and juking guys, got into the end zone, touchdown, and that's all she wrote. Zay Flowers is going to be a problem, and I cannot wait to see what he's going to do in the regular season. In terms of quarterback play, this is getting difficult, man. Both Josh Johnson and Anthony Brown played well. Like, they both really played well. Both of them threw 2 touchdowns. They both had a pick. But with Anthony Brown's, his pick was on a Hail Mary at the end of the game in the last-second attempt to try and win the game. Who the hell cares? But both quarterbacks played well. That's where things become difficult. Apparently, this whole quarterback competition is a lot more competitive than I thought, especially for that QB2 spot. I didn't think it was that competitive. I still believe it's going to be Huntley, but apparently there's a competition. Me, personally, I think Huntley's got that QB2 spot. It's that QB3 spot that we have to determine. And with the way Josh Johnson and Anthony Brown played today, it's going to be very difficult to assess who's going to get that spot because both of them played well enough to earn that roster spot today. And it's going to probably come down to the final preseason game because I'm assuming Huntley's not going to play in that one, too. They don't want to re-risk him because he's dealing with that hamstring. So it's probably going to come down to how both quarterbacks perform in that final preseason game or something. I don't know. Either way, quarterback play was great. We had a lot of great players making plays offensively. This guy, Keaton Mitchell, bro, he's going to make the roster. There's no way you're telling me he's not going to make the roster. I don't even know what Melvin Gordon is here for. I still think they signed him to be a camp body because they weren't fully sure what was going to happen with J.K. Dobbins. I don't think he's making this roster. What is he going to be here for? They have 6 backs on this team. They're probably going to keep 4. You look at Mitchell. Mitchell is running great. He can be utilized in the run game. He can be utilized in the pass game. He can be utilized in the special teams, just like Justice Hill. But he's got speed too, just like Justice Hill. You're going to add another weapon by having Mitchell here. And he's been performing amazing throughout training camp and throughout these preseason games. I don't even know what Melvin Gordon is here for. This is clearly going to Mitchell. Clear as day. I would be shocked if they don't keep Mitchell and they keep Melvin Gordon. I would actually be confused as to what the Ravens are trying to do when you're watching how this young kid is playing. This young guy, excuse me, that's a grown man right there. You're watching this rookie play, and he is just showing out, man. He is showing out. One can argue he would have had himself a touchdown at some point or another big run had he not suffered that shoulder injury that, kind of took him out of the game in the second half. But, man, this guy Mitchell, fantastic. Another person that kind of showed up and I loved what I saw. Tylan Wallace, once again, another preseason game played, another touchdown reception by him. He has been doing a fantastic job. We've seen it throughout training camp, and we're seeing it in the preseason games. He has been sticking out, and right now he is winning this job for the wide receiver 6 position. I thought Sean Ryan might play today, but I didn't see him. I don't know if he's injured or they just chose to have him as a healthy scratch. I don't know. But Tylan Wallace right now is winning this wide receiver 6 spot by a mile. He's winning this by a mile. He is doing a fantastic job, and he is showcasing that he can be a red zone threat and get open. He's making plays, and that's what you want to see. Obviously, you're 5 for the most part. You do. You're 5. You know it's going to be OBJ. You know it's going to be Zay. You know it's going to be Bateman. You know it's going to be Aguilar. You know it's going to be Duvernay. At the end of the day, you could probably move Duvernay to that spot in the return and put him there mostly as a returner instead of a receiver if you want to try to mix it in. Either way, I still believe Tylan Wallace is going to find his way onto this roster because throughout the preseason games, he is showcasing his abilities. He's showing out. He's performing in the games. He's performing well in training camp and showing out and making plays. This guy is finally getting an opportunity to showcase what he can do, and he is showing out. So I think he is going to win that wide receiver 6 spot. We'll see what he does in the 3rd preseason game, but so far from what we've seen through 2 games, he's winning that competition. I love what I saw from him. I love what I saw from the tight end. Cannot remember his name right now. He had 2 touchdowns in that game. Man, Baltimore just finds a way to they just find these guys with talent at the tight end position. They just find it. I mean, they had Darren Waller on this team 6 years ago. They know how to spot talent at the tight end position. If only they could consistently do that at the receiver position, it'd be great. But when it comes to spotting talent at the tight end position, they know how to do it. I would love to keep this guy on the team. But, you already have Andrews and Likely and Kolar. So I don't even know if this guy can stay. Could we keep 4 tight ends? I don't know. But this guy's been balling out throughout the preseason. So I just don't know, man. I don't know. Either way, I liked what I saw from our offensive players. A lot of plays being made. Points were being put on the board. These guys were just going out there making plays, both in the run and the passing game. And the quarterbacks were doing a great job for the most part. If there was any negative to talk about here, it's an unfortunate player. And again, I want to point this out. This one wasn't really his fault, but he does take partial responsibility for it. James Proche. We talked about Proche last week when he fumbled the ball, and we talked about how that's probably going to cost him a significant amount of time out there, maybe this week. And we also talked about how his chances to make the roster dramatically dropped when he fumbled that ball. After today's game, I don't know if he has any shot to make this team. I'm being serious. You're watching Tylan Wallace do what you would hope Proche would be able to do. Tylan Wallace is performing at a high level. And then you got another guy in Keaton Mitchell who's performing in the passing game, in the running game, and helping out with special teams and in the return game. So you're watching guys just show up in spots that Proche could be utilized in, but it's like he's not doing anything and they're doing something. So what do? Proche in this game, it's not entirely his fault. This is partially on him because it was a bad pass. It was not a good ball by Josh Johnson. So I believe it was the first half, second quarter, I believe. Ravens are marching down the field. They're doing well. I believe it's a 7-3 game at this point. And Josh Johnson, he's just on fire. He's hitting these guys in stride and making pass after pass, play after play, doing it all with his arm and his legs. He sees that James Proche is matched up on the outside one-on-one, and he takes a chance. Now, James Proche actually got separation and was open, but the ball was underthrown by Josh Johnson. The reason for that is because pressure came quick, so he had to get the ball out. The Commanders really pressured him, and he got that ball out quick, and due to the pressure, the ball wasn't deep enough there. And because it wasn't deep enough, Proche was caught in a situation where it was a 50-50 jump ball. He jumped for it. He had it in his hands, could not cradle it, could not make the catch. The ball ends up kind of getting juggled in the air. There's a Commanders defender right there. I believe it was Forbes, actually. Forbes was there. He makes the catch, and it's just... Actually, I don't know if it was Forbes, but one of the Commanders DBs was there. I swear it was Forbes, but I can't remember right now. My mind is clouded. Either way, Proche tries to make the catch. He tries to cradle it, cannot cradle it. The ball gets juggled in the air, and it's picked off. Because he's like jumping for it as he's starting to fall outside. He can't make the catch. The ball gets juggled in the air. He gets knocked out of bounds. It's right in the air, and it lands right in the defender's hand. And bada bing, bada boom, that's a pick, and the Commanders get the ball. And everyone looks at James Proche and is like, We know it isn't entirely your fault because that was an underthrow by Josh Johnson, even though he was blitzed and pressured. But you had that pass in your hands. The ball was in your hands. You could have made the catch. And even if you couldn't, could you at least try to knock the ball out of bounds? This one was an unfortunate situation. Last week was all him. This week wasn't even entirely him. But that happening to James Proche, of all people, just makes it look like he's not going to make this team. And it's unfortunate, man. It's really unfortunate. I just don't know what to say. Yeah, that was pretty much the only bad you can really look at when it comes to the offense because, they put up 28 points. They really did a damn good job with both quarterbacks making plays. And had it not been for injuries, who knows what would have happened because, Mitchell got taken out. So it is what it is. As for the defense, it was nice to see that we had some guys here that can make some plays. Like Adarius Washington, he made some plays today. I liked what he showcased. Seymour made some nice plays, but he got burnt. Stevens made okay plays. Let's be honest. When it comes to how the DBs performed as a whole, they were getting cooked left and right. They tried to make some plays, but they were just getting cooked. The rookie Kelly was getting beat all damn game. And he's a rookie, but he was getting cooked left and right. It was a struggle for these young cornerbacks, bro. They kept holding because Washington played their starters the entire first half. So you got these guys lined up against Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel and Jahan Dotson. These guys can't cover Dotson, McLaurin, and Samuel. They can't consistently cover them. Bro, so many penalties kept happening on McLaurin because guys cannot keep up with him. Dotson's killing people out there, and Curtis Samuel's just the one guy that's coming in underneath making plays. I'm watching this thinking, like, these guys cannot keep up with these weapons. They're not going to be able to do much with it. So there was constant penalties. They were constantly getting burnt, and I just don't know what to tell you. Some of these guys made some plays here and there, so that's great to see. There was a nice play by Kelly when it came to the 2-point conversion when Washington had a chance to tie the game. He made a great stop, great tackle by him. But, overall, the DBs did not have a great game. They got cooked left and right. There was some guys that made some plays here. Like, again, Washington had a good game. Stevens made some plays here. Kelly, he had a very up-and-down game, but he's a rookie. Seymour, he was nice. He made some plays. He had a great stop, too. Like, these guys were, they were making plays, but the DB room isn't exactly where you want it to be. However, it was nice to see some of the positive plays from these young guys because it gave you an assessment of what some of these guys were able to do. Like with Washington, you really got a nice assessment. I liked what I saw from him tonight. But the depth here is kind of tough. And then we started suffering injuries there too. It was just, it was just a mess. Thankfully, none of this is major. John Harbaugh talked about in his press conference. None of these injuries are major, but still, dealing with these type of injuries, man, it's tough. It's tough. The pass rush was up and down. When you had some guys out there, there wasn't really they were sending some pressure. They were getting to Sam Howell, but they just couldn't bring him down because Howell was elusive and he was just dodging guys. It was tough, but the defense, especially the pass rush, they couldn't. They weren't. At some point, they just couldn't get to him. They couldn't get to the quarterback. They really couldn't get to the quarterback. Whether it was Sam Howell, whether it was Jacoby Brissett, whether it was Jake Fromm, they just could not get to the quarterback, and that was problematic. I know it's our young guys out there, but that was still problematic. Defense did not have the best of games. They forced 2 turnovers, so that was cool, but like they didn't have the best of games, and that was that showcased itself at the end of the day, and ultimately what cost them because those penalties continued to happen because they couldn't cover anyone without holding. It is what it is. For the Commanders. Defensively, there wasn't much that I really looked at. They couldn't stop Baltimore when they were being aggressive, airing it out, taking shots down the field. Both quarterbacks played very well against the Commanders' defense. So they just made plays. Guys were just fast and just completing catches. A lot of passes were going over the seam that were just being completed. Nice passes down the field over the middle. Like these guys were just giving up some big plays. So I don't know if there's much to really look at when it comes to the Commanders' defense. At the end of the day, they made stops in the second half, but that was due to Baltimore doing what they always do. They got conservative. They just started running the ball. At some point, they had the ball in the fourth quarter. They just ran it 3 straight times, and of course, they didn't convert for a first down, so they just handed the ball off. So there was nothing else to really be said there. It is what it is at the end of the day. But, yeah, I mean, they still made enough plays they still made enough stops to give their offense a chance to try and win this game. The offense is actually what I liked. Jake Fromm made sure he had a game-winning drive. Good on him to get them into field goal range and ultimately get the kick to win the game. He made some nice plays, bro. He was dodging defenders and extending the play. I liked what I saw from him. But overall, what I really liked today was Sam Howell and the starters. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. On one hand, I loved what I saw from Sam Howell here because he was poised. He was making smart plays. He was making great reads. He was making great throws. He did not put the ball in danger at all, and that's exactly what I wanted to see from him. He got 2 touchdown passes in the game. He did not turn the ball over. He was doing what he needed to do. Sam Howell looks like he's in control of this offense, and I hope what we saw in those 2 touchdown drives, I hope that is just a small indication as to what we will be seeing from the Commanders' offense this year. That is my hope. Because, man, Sam Howell's so far in the preseason, he's been poised and he's been making his plays. He hasn't put the ball in danger a lot. If you look at it, in the preseason games we've seen them play so far, Sam Howell has not put the ball in danger. And that's what you want from your quarterback. He's just feeding the talent he has around him. Getting it to McLaurin, getting it to Doxson, getting it to Samuel. He's just feeding it to his guys. Going into the backfield, handing it to Gibson or handing it to Robinson. It's just that. You have weapons all around you, Sam. Just feed them the ball. And that's what he's doing. He's not trying to force anything. He had some great plays down the field, some great throws down the field that weren't able to be converted because that was just great defense. But the ball was where it needed to be. It was just great defense. So, on one hand, I loved what I saw. But on the other hand, the fact that they only got, 14 points? I believe it was, 14 points of offense from the starters there. Maybe it was 17. I don't know. It was like 14 to 17 points of offense in the first half against the second and third string defense of the Ravens, where they have virtually no corners. That's kind of concerning. Seeing that is kind of concerning, but at the same time, it is what it is. You just go out there, you're running a vanilla offense, you just do what you need to do. It's about how your quarterback looked in terms of how he was reading the field, what plays he was making, how he was throwing the ball, and Sam Howell was checking all the right boxes and doing what he needed to do. So hopefully what we saw in that game is an indication of what we will see in the regular season, because if Sam Howell can continue to be poised in the pocket, continue to make smart reads, smart plays, get the ball in the hands of our talented players and let them go to work and not put the ball in danger, Washington can have a really good offense this year and they will be putting up points. Overall, it was an interesting game. Nice to see it come down to the wire. And Washington, man, they said they wanted to end the streak. They came out there. in their building and ended the streak. Congrats to them. Me personally, I'm glad this streak is over and done with so we can move on. Anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all watching. The season is almost here. We got one more preseason game, and then we prepare for the regular season. So the football season is almost officially here, guys. Just a little bit more time. We'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. And with that being said, that's all I've got. I'm out of here, man. Peace.